haula le gaufi ntate. Ke kopala le yona ma super sport ba ba leng ka mo ha ba ka ba mo lahla ba ile ba re ka gore o ile go Kaizer Chiefs re tla mo latela Jehova. Ke be tsone di player tsa ka tsa Kaizer Chiefs ntate ka gare go dithapelo tsa gago ntate. Ba sireletse o ba baballe. Ke ba leboga ka mokgwa ba kile ba mogela ngwana bo bona ka matsogo a masweu. Ke re o ho Jehova ba sireletse ka matsatsi le metlantate. Bohle ba ba leng ka gare go ena tulo ba sireletse ka matsatsi otle Jehova ke ba ba ka tlase dithapelo tsa gago. Jehova ke go kopile ke go rapela ntate. Re etelle pele ka ona mosebetsi ntate. Ebe wena mo etelle pele ka rona ska ba ka botlhale ba rona Jehova. Ebe ka botlhale ba gago. Ke re go look around. Tsamaya ngwana mma. Farewell my boy. Farewell. Go well. You've done your race. You ended here. And I'd like to thank your family to give us from Kaizer Chiefs. And we're going to miss you, Lou. We're going to miss you, all the Kaizer Chiefs. We're going to miss you at the village. Everybody at the village is going to miss you. I thank you so much to be with us, and God must look after you. Go well. But your spirit will be with us every day and every night. Look, everything that you leave it behind. Say be the kneeling of the God in Jesus' name. Amen.
Relebo Mama Sarah. And as Mama Sarah mentioned, and I should also take this opportunity to acknowledge the players of Super Sport United who were teammates of Luke's for longer than most, not even here at Kaizer Chiefs. They knew him, they grew up with him. So I want to acknowledge the Super Sport United players that are with us this afternoon, and also all the other players that were teammates of Luke's at the various national teams that he represented. We also recognize your presence here. Now, to officially welcome you all here, I'm going to ask the Marketing Director of Kaizer Chiefs Football Club, Ms. Jessica Notoane, to come forward.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and esteemed guests, to the Fleurs family, players, and everyone with us today, the media. Thank you for joining us. The 11th of April is a very significant day for Kaizer Chiefs. And today makes it even more significant. It's significant in the footballing history of Kaizer Chiefs and South African football, because many of you will remember in 2001, 43 people lost their lives at Ellis Park during a game between Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. And I must say, we continue to mourn those who lost their lives at Ellis Park, and we do not want to see incidents like that again. I'd like to ask for us to stand up and just have a moment of silence to remember those who were lost in the disaster at Ellis Park. Thank you. Honestly, it's with a heavy heart that I stand here today. Again, on the 11th of April, as the footballing family and the Fleur family pay their respects and really say farewell. Today is an opportunity for us to look at Luke's life, celebrate his life, remember him, and really say our farewell as the footballing family. Well, I know the family will have the funeral in Cape Town. And it's sad that his life was cut short at 24. You know, I'm looking and I see his middle name is Don. I have a son called Donald. And I can't imagine, as a parent, burying my child. So to the family, to Luke's mother and his father, just know our hearts go out to you. I might not have had a lot of interaction with Luke, but one of the things I remember about Luke is that he just has this bright smile. And I think the last time I saw him was he was rushing to the High Performance Center to do some training. And just his welcoming energy, I'd been away, so his welcoming energy was absolutely amazing. And I think one of the things that we can look back and say is it's so great in life when you can achieve your dreams. Very few people get to live out their dreams. And I'm just so proud that Luke achieved his dream to come to Kaizer Chiefs and became part of the Kaizer Chiefs family. By the way, he really looked good. I love this photo. He looked good in the Chiefs colors. So I do, and I know the ladies know that too. But I know his affinity for Chiefs, and it's wonderful that he had the opportunity to be with us. And we had great plans for Luke. Obviously, he came in, we needed to move into the new season. We had some exciting marketing initiatives for him as well that we wanted to do, but it's unfortunate that he's no longer with us. I just realized that the connection with Luke and Kaizer Chiefs started way back. Because if I'm not wrong, Coach Vela selected him in the under-17s, and it turns out Coach Vela is a coach at Kaizer Chiefs in the academy. And he told us that he saw this chubby young fellow who was very talented, you know, and he could see something. He could see something there, and Coach, thank you for seeing that talent and knowing that this is a talent for the nation. Because Luke didn't just play for Chiefs, he played for his nation, and that's also wonderful and commendable. He made it clear that he wanted to come to Naturina. It did not happen immediately, but like we say, we're very proud that it's happened. I want to thank Luke's parents and his family for giving him to us and allowing him to be part of us. Glenn, thank you for the work that you and your team did to make sure that he came to Kaizer Chiefs. I know that the Mitchells Plain community is proud that he was flying the flag. And I'm proud that he was able to do that here with us. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everybody who's here today as we celebrate this young soul's life. On behalf of our chairman, who unfortunately sends his apologies, he couldn't be with us here today, and the board and other members of the Chiefs family, just like to say we give our sincere condolences to the family. We really appreciate our time with Luke. Life's a journey, guys, but you don't know how long the journey is. And today, I hope that as we reflect on Luke's life, it's 24 years. Many of us think we're going to live forever, we're going to do everything, we'll do something later on. I think the lesson here today is, if you want to do something, do it now. And I think if you look at Luke's life, he was passionate. He didn't hold back. If there's anything we can take back, don't hold back. Be yourself. Push for your dreams. But he was also fun. He was about people. And I look here, he's brought us all together. Yes, not the ideal circumstances, but go out and be who you want to be. Go out and be yourself. Go out and give yourself to the world fully, because you don't know how it'll end or when it'll end. On behalf of everybody from Chiefs, I'd like to welcome you here today. Let's celebrate Luke's life. Let's enjoy who he was. I know that we're going to play some photos and videos. Let's remember the positive side. But also, I'd like to make one point. We need to all collectively do something to change our country. What happened to Luke wasn't fair. Crime isn't right. We need to deal with the crime that is affecting our country, and Luke's situation and incidents really puts a spotlight on the issues that we as a nation are dealing with. And I trust that our leaders and politicians will heed the call to keep us safe. I'd like to thank everybody for coming here today, and I'd like to say we will always remember Luke. May his soul rest in peace. And to his family, you're our family. I really enjoyed the intimate moment with the chairman and the family and just being able to talk to you guys. But I'd like to meet families before, not at the end, as we embark on the journey with the players. So I look forward to maintaining the relationship with you, We will fly. He will always be a part of the Chiefs family. Kosi for life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that, Jess. And yeah, it is quite poignant that you should remember that, another dark day. That on this day that, I don't know whether this was a coincidence again that this day was selected for this memorial, because we should never ever forget the 43 souls that departed this planet or this earth on the 11th of April 2001, one of the darkest days in South African football. And those Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates fans that perished that day should never be forgotten. So indeed, it is quite poignant that it should be happening on a day such as this. Indeed, as Jessica says, that today provides an opportunity to celebrate, but not just to celebrate, it provides an opportunity to walk through our emotions, whatever they are. I'm never a fan of people who get up at occasions such as this and tell people to be strong. You don't have to be strong. Nothing prepares us for this kind of thing. Nothing prepares you to deal with the kind of heartbreak and sorrow that this causes. So we will walk the gambit in terms of the emotions that we will go through. We will laugh, we will cry, and we will cherish every memory that will be shared here this afternoon about the life and times of Luke Don Fleurs. Speaking of the life and times of Luke Don Fleurs, I'm going to ask somebody who was a key part of his life, particularly his footballing life, but of course, when you take on the relationship that Luke had with our next speaker, it goes beyond football. He is family. He becomes like a parent. So to come and talk to us about the journey that Luke walked until he met his untimely demise, I'm going to invite his manager, man who managed his affairs, Clint Binkin, to come on up and speak to us. Clint?
Thank you, Program Director. Theo and Simone Fleurs, parents of Luke. Josh and Sydney Fleurs, eldest brother and sister of Luke. Members of the Fleurs family. Kaizer Chiefs Sporting Director, Kaizer Jr. Motaung, and Marketing Director, Jessica Motaung. South Africa Under-23 Olympic coach, David Notoane. Teammates of Luke from SuperSport United, Kaizer Chiefs, and the South African national team. Supporters of Kaizer Chiefs and SuperSport United and football in Mzansi. Friends and supporters of Luke, and fellow mourners. All protocol observed. Luke Don Fleurs was born at home in Mitchell's Plain, Cape Town on the 3rd of March 2000. The son of Theo and Simone Fleurs, brother of Joshua and Sydney Fleurs, Luke showed a passion for soccer from a very early age, where his love affair with the gold and black of the Amakosi started in the streets of Mitchell's Plain, where him and Joshua would play Chiefs versus Pirates day and night. Luke first attended Marydale Primary and thereafter Mitchell's Plain Primary School until grade 7, whereafter he moved to Silvermine Academy School in Sun Valley, Cape Town, which was the school affiliated to Ubuntu Football Academy, which was to become his home away from home. Whilst growing up, Luke played junior football for Cyprus United, joining them as a 5-year-old. Thereafter, Delmans United, now known as Morganster United, and he then joined Mr. Price Parkhurst FC until the age of 11, where he was scouted playing in an under-13 regional tournament and was offered a football and education scholarship with Ubuntu Football Club. His career at Ubuntu flourished, and it was there under the guidance of Casey Prince, his mentor, who nurtured this talent and identified him to be most effective as a central defender, which position he continued to play in until his passing. At Ubuntu in the 2017-2018 season, aged just 17, he played 18 games and he quickly became one of the most popular players in the team, with the fans falling in love with Pelas, as he was affectionately known, and in particular with his skills and tenacity. Whilst at Ubuntu, he was capped 5 times for the under-17 national team. It was whilst playing for Ubuntu in the NFD that Luke was scouted by SuperSport United, and on his 18th birthday, SuperSport United CEO Stan Matthews and myself hosted a birthday party dinner in his honor at the Ubuntu house, where Luke, his family, and his Ubuntu teammates, his other brothers, were told that SuperSport United had reached agreement with Ubuntu for Luke to transfer to SuperSport United and further his professional career in Gauteng with Matsatsinsa Pretoria. Luke spent 4.5 years at SuperSport United, playing in excess of 70 games for the club, and also represented the under-23 national team at the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, where he was undoubtedly one of the stars of the team during that tournament. In October 2023, Luke transferred to Kaizer Chiefs, which, as I alluded to earlier, was a fulfillment of one of his childhood dreams from his days of playing in the black and gold colour as a 5-year-old on the streets of Mitchells Plain. Unfortunately, Luke did not get the chance to play in a competitive game for the Amakosi. His life and career were tragically cut short when he passed away as a victim of crime just over a week ago. Luke's sudden death was a shock to everyone who knew him and loved him. He was healthy, happy, always had a smile on his face, and had his whole life ahead of him. He was unapologetically Luke. As his father, Theo, said earlier in the week, what Luke used to say was, never pretend, because you will make a mistake, always be yourself. And I think we'll all agree that Luke was very much himself. His family and friends meant everything to him, and he spoke fondly to me recently about how he wanted to help his family in the future as they made huge sacrifices for him and his career. He was fun-loving and always smiling, and will be particularly missed in the dressing room and on the bus, where his singing and dancing skills came to the fore. His death is a reminder that life is precious and can be taken away from us at any time. We should all cherish the moments we have with our loved ones and never take them for granted. At this stage, it would be remiss of me to not thank Kaizer Chiefs Football Club, in particular for all their support, hard work, and assistance behind the scenes in making today's special occasion possible, and for giving Luke the opportunity to fulfill his dreams of playing for the Glamour Club. And to SuperSport United for believing in Luke as a 17-year-old footballer. To the Fleurs extended family and to Luke's friends, many thanks for your support for the family in particular. Rest in peace, Luke. You'll be sorely missed on and off the field of play.
Thank you very much for that, Glenn. Apologies for that slight delay. All right, seems technology doing its thing again. Glenn, thank you so much for that, painting a picture of the life of Luke. I'm going to now also just mention that we have received numerous messages of support and condolences, one of which comes from the Confederation of African Football. The president of CAF sent the following message addressed to the chairman of Kaizer Chiefs, Dr. Kaizer Motaung, and it reads as follows: Wako Hai, it is with profound sadness that I learned of the passing of Luke Fleurs, a talented player of Kaizer Chiefs Football Club. Please pass my personal and CAF's deepest condolences to his family, friends, colleagues, as well as to the players, management, board, and supporters of Kaizer Chiefs. May God comfort and console you all during this painful and sad period. Yours faithfully, Confédération Africaine de Football, Patrice Motsepe, President. There are a number of other messages which I will share with you and which, of course, we will pass on to the family as we carry on with our program. As Lynn mentioned, Luke's formative years in the game his younger years were spent at Ubuntu FC. Ubuntu have also sent through a message. We got that message
Hey
ready?
everyone, my name is Casey Prince and I'm the co-founder and executive director of the Ubuntu Football Academy in Cape Town. We were home for Luke in 2013 until about 2018. So he started with us as a 12-year-old, very precocious, really interesting young man, and did the journey through high school. I think what was always special about Luke are a few things. One was that he was always very inquisitive, and in our relationship, which was very close, he asked a lot of really good questions. And he was very perceptive, so he would notice something and then he would ask you a quite deep question about it. And some people might be surprised by that, but he always we had really good conversations where he asked me really interesting things like, Coach, what's it like to produce a national team player? Or really deeply, Coach, why did you stick with me? Why did you keep giving me chances? Because Luke, often made mistakes really off the field. But there was a lot of grace for him because he always wanted to be different. But I think the thing that sticks with me in a lot of ways was just the way Luke was always himself, and he never got too big for the people around him. It didn't matter that he was a 17-year-old already playing in our NFD team, but still living in the Ubuntu house and still being big brother to all the grade 6s and 7s who hung all over him and wanted to be around him all the time. He still treated them with dignity and with love and respect. But then even when he moved to Johannesburg and he was at SuperSport United and now Kaizer Chiefs, he always treated the people here, both as academy brothers, but also just his friends and family in Mitchell's Plain. He still treated them like he was still just a kid rolling around in the streets of Westridge. He never treated people like he was too big for them or he had gotten too important. And so I just really appreciate the way he always stayed humble, the way he was always himself, and the way, he just sort of never forgot where he came from. But it really wasn't about, it was like he almost never thought about forgetting people. He just always was going to be for people and a cheerleader of others. And so I'm just thankful for that. And it's definitely encouraged and challenged me over the years. But I just want to say, I'm really thankful for the way the SuperSport community welcomed him for those 5+ years and the way now the Kaizer Chiefs community has welcomed him. He was our son and we feel like we loaned him to you guys for a while, but we're really thankful the ways you cared for him and took care of him, and we are mourning and grieving with you through this time. Thanks so much.
Lovely tribute and a lovely message they sent through from Ubuntu FC, where Luke began his journey to his professional career as a footballer, as a young, was it a 13-year-old, I think they said there in the video. So, as they said, he said that in the video there, his coach was saying that they felt like that he was their son. He was just on loan to SuperSport, and I guess Kaizer Chiefs had lost custody of him. But it was at SuperSport United that he first made his name, became a household name. One of the players, I'm going to invite one of the players that started off with him at Kaizer Chiefs, and I believe also they were together at Ubuntu. I haven't seen where is Jesse. Oh, there you are. Jesse, please come through. Jesse Don, from Luke's former friend and teammate from SuperSport United and Ubuntu days. Cheers.
Afternoon, everyone. As I was making my way up now, I realized that I'm probably going to do two things that Luke wouldn't have agreed with. That's, first of all, be way too serious, and second of all, stay focused on one thing for way too long. So I apologize in advance if I'm too serious and I take up too much of your time. But as I stand here, I'm at a loss for words. I now know what it means to have so much to say, but feel like you have so few words to say it. I had the immense privilege of meeting Luke at 12 years old and have journeyed with him over the past 12 years and have stepped into different seasons of life with him. I tell you this so that you know that as I stand here, I don't only represent my own feelings, but I represent the feelings and emotions of the organizations and people that he touched over the past 12 years. First of all, Uncle Theo, Sydney, Josh, Auntie Simone in her absence, I can't imagine what you guys are going through. I hope that in the midst of all our pain and our suffering, that we never forget that he was your son and your brother. I know how much family meant to someone like Luke, and I know how much it means to you. And so, first and foremost, I'd love to honor you guys. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to pay tribute to your beloved son and brother. My first encounter with Luke happened about 12 years ago, and believe it or not, we were opponents. We played for our local football associations, and he was from a different football community, so naturally we were on different teams. Believe it or not as well, he was a striker. I'm sure his teammates will probably have known, because whenever we played small-sided, he would like to remind you that he once played striker, so he could go play striker for you now. At that point, I think Luke was just another kid to me, another kid playing football. Little did I know that over the next 12 years, he'd become a friend, he'd become a brother, and someone that would creep so deeply into my heart. Our relationship quickly changed from opponents to teammates. As was mentioned, that Ubuntu Football Academy noticed his talent and scouted him to come play for the team. From the very first day, Luke's presence was tangible. Although his voice was a little bit higher back then, it was very rarely a day that would go by without hearing it. And although his body was a bit smaller, his smile was always larger than life. I know there are only a few Ubuntu people, or people who are associated with Ubuntu in this room, but a tribute to him would not be fitting without recognizing the organization that formed him for 6 years of his life. So from everybody at Ubuntu, we would like to send our heartfelt condolences to the family. He was deeply loved and he'll be sorely missed. After his breakout season with Ubuntu, he made his way to SuperSport, where he spent just over 5 years at the club and got to do what he loved. In this past week, after speaking to a few of our teammates and remembering his life, we all agreed that we'd miss his indescribable dance moves, we'd miss his silly jokes and contagious laugh, and we'd miss his ability to wear the same clothes for multiple days. We are so grateful to have crossed paths with his infectious personality, and everybody at SuperSport would again like to extend their heartfelt condolences to the family at this time. If I'm honest, when thinking about a personal tribute, this is probably one of the most difficult things I've had to do in my life. How do you adequately honor someone who meant so much to so many? I feel like trying to put Luke's life into words is like trying to fit fireworks into a matchbox. So instead of trying to tell you guys what I think, I want to let Luke's life do the talking. Having known Luke since we were so young, and being a little bit older than him, I was lucky enough to be the person that he often came to ask for advice. But when I look back at life, Luke taught me so much more than I could ever tell him. One of the reasons my heart has been so broken by this tragedy is the fact that I never got to tell him. I didn't remind him of the unspoken lessons that he taught me. So as part of my grieving process, I wrote him a letter to tell him what I would have and should have told him while I still could have. And so today I would love to share that letter with you. Dear Pelas, Preparing what to say at your memorial was something that never crossed my mind. We had often talked about the future, when we'd get married, what our kids would look like, how fat we'd be after football, but we never thought that this would be our future. It came unexpectedly and far too soon. And as I begin to think about your memorial and feel so hopelessly unprepared, I'm actually reminded that you, in fact, had mastered unpreparedness. Lesson number 1, unprepared can be your superpower. It always amazed me at how seemingly unprepared you could be, yet still always exceed expectations. I must be honest and say that for this over-preparer, I was sometimes frustrated to watch you effortlessly flourish without any intentional preparation. It took me 12 years to realize, though, that Pelas, this was part of who you were. Through your lack of preparation, you gave yourself no choice but to step into every situation unashamedly as Pelas. Your jokes were never rehearsed. Your smile was never fake. Your laugh was never forced. In a world full of critics and overthinkers, thank you for being bold enough to be yourself every single day. Thank you for reminding me that my preparation should never get in the way of being who God called me to be. Lesson number 2, what your face says matters. So many of my memories with Luke were found in the travels we shared. It didn't matter the destination, as long as we were going together, the trip was going to be fun. And while traveling around the country and traveling around the world with Pelas will always have a deep place in my heart, it was the everyday trips to training that I'll miss the most. One particular trip comes to mind. We were on the way back from training, and I think Jamie, who's sitting here in the front, will remember we were staying together at the time. We were on the way back from training, and I know Luke said something that I didn't particularly agree with, which, if I'm honest, happened quite often. So as he was sitting in the back, I remember looking into the rearview mirror and saying to Luke, I can't remember what the exact words were, but expressing my disagreement, and we had a little bit of an argument. And just as I thought the argument was about to end, Luke looked over me and he said to me, "But Keiki, don't pull your face like that, no?" And it became a running joke, and every time he would catch me making some sort of face, he would tell me, "Hey, don't pull your face like that." And although it was a joke, I think when I look at Luke's life, it was more than just a joke to him, it was the way he lived his life. As I've been looking at photos and being reminded of his life, Luke always had a smile on his face. Although his life was not always easy, he never let that dull his smile. And that smile I know we will never forget. Thank you for reminding me that sometimes a smile is all we have, and sometimes a smile is all we need. Lesson number 3, it's all part of the journey. While you had countless phrases and sayings that I know we will all remember you by, the one that sticks out to me most is it's all part of the journey. It was often used in less serious situations, such as when Chicken Licken had closed and we could no longer order food, or when you hadn't showered for a few days. But to this day, I still quote you, it's all part of the journey. Thank you for reminding that our journey is more important than our destination, and it is oftentimes the journey that equips us to pursue God's calling on our lives. Pelas, you lived with a sincere excitement for each new day, always ready for the next adventure. But Pelas, we were not ready. I was not ready to say goodbye to a brother who for a long time was my only family in Gauteng. I was not ready to stop seeing your goofy dance moves, your boring jokes, or your ever-present smile. My only refuge in this time has been in knowing that you knew Jesus. And although we will never understand why you left us so soon, I know that God is not surprised. I am thankful that until the very end, you wrestled with your Maker as you wrestled with your heart. Although my small mind could never comprehend his plan and purpose for your life, I know that your life was in his hands. And when I think about your life, Pelas, I know that God sees you as a victory. I'm sorry that in my selfish ambition, I didn't remind you of this more often, but I hope you know that your life was victorious. From the streets of Westridge to the world, thank you for dreaming and being brave enough to believe that those dreams were possible. In your fearless ambition, you have inspired countless young men, and I know that many will benefit from the legacy that you leave behind. After everything that happened on Wednesday night, my family reached out to me who stay abroad and wanted me to write a letter to the Fleurs family to just be with them and send their condolences. And on the note that I wrote, it was one of those notepads that has Bible verses on the bottom. The Bible verse was Lamentations 3, verse 22 to 25. And then yesterday, as I was putting my thoughts together and what I would say, my wife, unbeknown to her what I had written and what was on the notepad, sent me the exact verse, and so I thought it would be fitting to share it with you. It says, this is Lamentations 3, verse 22 to 23. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. What if Luke's life was only to remind us that the Lord's mercies are new every morning? What if his keen excitement and appetite for each new day was to remind us of God's faithfulness? How did Pelas manage to live a life of such abundant joy in such a short space of time? I know when I think of it, it is only because of God's grace. This verse is written in the Bible at a time by a person named Jeremiah who is experiencing extreme difficulty in grieving pain and loss. And so I know today is about Luke, and we want to celebrate that. But I also would like to take this opportunity to tell everybody in this room that if you're going through pain and loss, if you feel like you don't know a way out, the Lord's mercies on you every morning. If nothing else, can we leave today being reminded by Luke's life that the Lord is faithful and that each new day is a gift? I would love to just quickly end off with a prayer, if that's okay with you guys. Father God, I thank you for the life that was Luke Fleurs, Lord. I thank you for the abundant joy that you squeezed into the 24 years that he was here with us. I pray right now, Lord, for those in the room that are hurting, Lord, would you draw close to them? Would you comfort them in their pain? I pray, Lord, as we move forward from this place, Lord, that we would never forget Luke, and that in remembering Luke, Lord, we remember your mercies that are new each morning. I thank you that you have a plan and a purpose, Lord, and I thank you that Luke's plan and purpose, Lord, was victorious, Lord, that he lived a life that exuberated your kindness and your grace, Lord. And I thank you that in that kindness and grace, you allowed him to fulfill his dreams. I pray, Lord Jesus, for everybody in the room that may not know you, Lord, would you come close to them and encounter them during this time, Lord. And I thank you for the abundant joy that was Luke Fleurs. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse, for that wonderful, wonderful tribute, heartfelt tribute to your friend. Really, really moving tribute indeed. As I mentioned, we have received a number of letters, and I said I'd pick a few of them, some of the letters that have come through, letters of support and letters of condolences to the family. I have one as well that received from FIFA, from the Office of the President of FIFA, the address to the President of the South African Football Association, Dr. Danny Jordan. It reads as follows: I would like to express my sincerest and heartfelt condolences on the tragic passing of former youth international player Luke Fleurs. Words seem inadequate to express the sadness we feel for this loss. During his career, Luke Fleurs won several caps for the youth national teams, representing his country at the Tokyo Olympic football tournament in 2021. At club level, Luke Fleurs was currently defending the colors of Kaizer Chiefs, following his stints with Ubuntu Cape Town and SuperSport United FC. Young and promising and talented defender, his legacy and trajectory on and off the pitch will not be forgotten, and he will be truly missed. On behalf of the international football community, I wish to extend our deepest sympathy to the South African Football Association, to Kaizer Chiefs FC, to Luke Fleurs' family, friends, and teammates and loved ones. Our thoughts are all with you. We hope that these memories and our words of support may help bring some peace and solace at this difficult time. Yours sincerely, Gianni Infantino, who is the president of FIFA. Now, I'd like to also, of course, as mentioned there, Luke represented his country at under 17 and under 23 level. One of his coaches when he was playing at under 23 is David Notoane. He is with us as well this afternoon. I'd like to invite him as well to come and share a few words. about the Luke Fleurs that he knew.
Program Director, thanks very much. To the Kaiser Chiefs family, Jessica, Sporting Director, Kaiser Jr., thanks very much for the opportunity to come and pay my last respects and bid farewell to Luke Fleurs. Distinguished dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Khotsong, peace be upon you all. Fleurs family, political leaders present, if any, Chairman of Kaiser Chiefs, Dr. Kaiser Mutaung, and the management of Kaiser Chiefs under the leadership of Jessica, and the Sporting Director Kaiser Jr., Supersport United, CEO Stan Matthews, if he's here, and the club management, players as well, Ubuntu Academy and their management, football family at large, including the loving supporters. Football has lost a son in Luke Fleurs. Tragically so. May his soul rest in peace. When I received the news of Luke's passing, I was in shock and didn't want to believe. By the next day, I grew angry because of the manner in which his life was cut short. I was angry because growing up under apartheid was tough. And I never imagined the freedom and democracy would bring us the life we live today, where senseless killing has become a norm. I echo Jessica's words in that regard. My faith was a bit shaken. I was weak and fragile, in shock. But as I regained myself, the reality set in that everything happens through God, and it's God's will that will be done, no matter the circumstance. We are gathered here today to share the pain with Luke's family and friends, but to also celebrate the life of Luke, short as it is. Most importantly, to carry the spirit of love Luke left with us. Inspired by the book of 1 John chapter 3, verse 18, which reads as follows: My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. This memorial is an act that fulfills this scripture, and we are thankful to Kaiser Chiefs for the platform to show our love to Luke and his family and friends. As his talent was blossoming at Ubuntu Academy, we started taking notice at under 20 level with Coach Thabo Senong. So going to AFCON and the World Cup in 2019, Luke was a strong contender already that time. We thank Ubuntu Academy for the wonderful rounded talent that they produced for South African football. That was my initial contact with Luke, distant as it was, because it was only a recommendation at the time. His move to Supersport United gave us the opportunity to have conviction in his talent, that it is of international standards. His solid performances in the back five of Supersport was admirable. Good technically, dominant aerially, with robustness in the tackle that set him apart from his peers. His reading and anticipation of the game reminded me of the chief himself, Lucas Hadebe. So going to the AFCON 2019 in Egypt, under 23 I'm talking. He was in such form and a regular at SuperSport United that it was impossible to leave him out. So the unavailability of players going into that Egypt tournament, because it was outside of the FIFA calendar, was a bit of a relief for the selection headache that I was sitting with at the time. We had players like Siyangezana, Tertius Malepe, Tendo Mukumela, Givin Simango, Keanu Cupido, you can imagine. And then there was Luke Fleurs doing very well at SuperSport United at the time. So, and these players I'm mentioning were ahead of him in terms of the talent pipeline of the national team, having graduated from the U17s. But yeah, the boy star was shining at SuperSport, not to mention Stan Matthews' noise of his omission from the national teams under 23 especially. So by the time we were going to Tokyo Olympics 2020, the stage was set for him, and his performances and personality matched the demands of that tournament. So indeed, we made the right call to recognize his talent. So he joined our preparation camps and didn't disappoint, because the selection was tough if you listen to the names that I mentioned before. He was a team player, lovable, humble, soft-spoken, with a hoarse baritone. He had that baritone that when he talks, it captures you. Always a smile on his face in the change room. Whenever he opened his mouth, there will be a laugh or a banter from the boys. Something I couldn't understand, and he couldn't explain to his death. I suppose the boys are here to share today, actually, what was that banter about every time Luke walked in or he started talking. On the pitch, he was an unbelievable footballer. Sometimes he underestimated his abilities. His speed of thinking overshadowed his lack of pace, sniffing out attacks with excellent positioning and game awareness. He had this meanness in the tackle, which I liked, of course. And it earned him the wrath of the referees at times. You'd know that sometimes he got what we'll call silly red cards, yellow cards. But yeah, that was Luke. I knew of Luke when he was 11, at under 11. Because his dad never spared telling me about his kid when he met me back at my days at Santos. He always insisted that I should take him to the academy of Santos at the time. You see, Luke was a home person. So one day during Olympic camps, as we were preparing for Olympics, I was asking him how his family back in Cape Town was. With a normal, all is fine coach, he then quizzed me. Do you know my dad? Yo. I was caught by surprise. Of course, I knew him, but I didn't know him because I couldn't remember the face. I'm now back in Joburg. Until he responded that he was my big fan at the Athlone Stadium. Now you think back of that old Athlone Stadium. Then my memory flashed back to the man who used to shout, Michael Jackson, from the stands. Why? Because I was playing with white gloves that winter evening. Cape Town can get cold, as you might have found out a few weeks ago. And there was always this voice up there in the stands. When I make a bad move, hey, Michael Jackson, Jay. Mr. Fleurs, mission was accomplished cum laude. As we bid Luke farewell, his loss is not only to Kaizer Chiefs, for whom he was to feature in an official match, but also to Bafana Bafana as a future prospect come 2026 and 2030 World Cup, because I really believe that Luke was in the right talent pipeline, and I was happy when he was called up to Bafana for the recent friendly matches. This senseless killing denied him to realize the dream of success with Kaizer Chiefs. Instead, realizing the dream of only wearing the Chiefs jersey. Death be not proud. We call on the government to make South Africa safe for the future of our kids and youth. Let's fight this lawlessness for their prosperous future, especially for those of us with one passport. Matthew 5, verse 4 says, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted." It is my prayer that you find comfort in these words. Draw strength and trust in the Lord God to be with you through this difficult time. Moiluop, Luke, may the football angels receive you well. Rubalaga Khotso. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach David Notoane, or should I call you henceforth Coach Michael Jackson? Thank you for that wonderful tribute to Luke. What I'd like to ask now is, we already heard from one of Luke's friends, but I'm going to ask on behalf of his new family here at Kaizer Chiefs, to speak on behalf of his teammates and players. Given Smango is going to come up. Given?
Good day, everyone. Before I even begin speaking, I'd like to take this opportunity to firstly thank my Makosi family for affording me with such a platform, with such thank you, my good sir, with such an honor and a responsibility to come here forth and just share a few words about our late brother, Luke Fleurs, and to also thank the Fleurs family for allowing us to honor their son in such a beautiful manner, for us to come and try and relive the beautiful moments we have shared with him, and for that we thank you. Today, we are gathered here with heavy hearts in loss of our brother Luke Fleurs, a teammate who was taken away from us far too soon. But we not only come here together as teammates, but as a family, united in remembrance of the beautiful life he has led, together with us, his teammates, his close friends, and most importantly, his family. I think my esteemed guests that come before me have mentioned how much of a skilled footballer Luke was, how talented he was. I mean, mina nginkomo compared to Luke Fleurs. And it was such an honor to watch, to train and appreciate the talent that he had. And for him to come and share that little time that he had with the Makosi family, it is truly appreciated from his brothers in black and gold, and of course his former teammates as well, from Supersport and Ubuntu. Our dear friend, of course, he was not only just a skilled footballer. You know, he was a beacon of light. He was a source of inspiration for many. He was one person who knew how to light up a room with just being himself. His personality was beyond this world, and for me to have known him for the little time that I have, he also taught me a few things, you know, about life, because football is life, you know. The challenges that we face on the field are a true resemblance of how we handle ourselves outside the pitch. I wouldn't say nonchalant approach, but I'd say he's carefree and I think my brother Jesse Don summed it up properly when he described him, but you know, he had this thing about him when it came to, you know, difficulties and challenges, always faced them head on with a smile, with some form of confidence. He never shown when he was sad, when he felt like things are not going well for him. He was not one person you'd see frowning, you know, or throwing a tantrum, as most footballers do. But, you know, having experienced such things with him, I also picked up that, you know, carrying yourself in such a way does, you know, take you far in life. I think what's also very important today was to also acknowledge the human aspect of Luke Fleurs. I think before anything else, before him being a footballer, he's a human being, and we are judged by our human nature and our deeds that we do to other people. And I think he had an infectious relationship with us as the Makosi family, not only his teammates, but together with obviously the management of the club. I think I say this on behalf of my brothers, that we all loved Luke. He left, you know, good memories in our hearts. You know, it's someone that will be sorely and dearly missed. And of course, gathered here today in this time, difficult time for the family, difficult time for the friends. Of course, as a club, we mourn Luke. You know, we try our best to honor him each and every day. You know, as we go out there and do what we love, which is play the game of football. We go out there in honor and remembrance of the wonderful life he has led. And of course, to also, you know, honor him in such a way, because we are very fortunate as footballers, you know, to reach a stage in our lives where we can say we've achieved our dreams. And I feel he had achieved his. But unfortunately, he was taken far too soon from us for him to enjoy this dream of his. And, you know, we take it upon ourselves as his teammates, as his friends, to try and fulfill his dream through us, through our spirits, as we play the remaining games of the seasons and the games to come. We'll try and honor him the best way we know how, by playing the game of football with love and respect and remembrance. To you, my dear friend Luke, I'd like to say, may your soul rest in peace, knowing that you will be remembered, knowing that your memory and your legacy will forever live on through those who care and love you. We wish you a good journey to a safe place. You've run your race, my friend. You will forever be remembered and loved. And to you, the Luke Fleurs family, I send my deepest condolences, not only for myself, but from the band of brothers, the Kaiser Chiefs family sitting behind you, and the management of the club. We send our deepest condolences to you as a family, and you are family forever. It doesn't end here. You're family forever, and we love and appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Given. Thanks for that as well. Speaking on behalf of the players, you're right. We have also been denied as well, I guess, as football fans, the opportunity to see the kind of partnership you could have formed at the heart of the Chiefs' defense with Luke. Now, as I mentioned, we have received a number of messages, and amongst them, I just want to acknowledge as well that we had received messages from Kaiser Chiefs Football Club partners, Vodacom, Stadium Management, SA, and SAIL, who all sent messages of condolences, which we will share with the family. But I also wanted to share a letter that we've received from the Township Rollers of Botswana, in the Republic of Botswana. They addressed their letter to the Kaiser Chiefs Football Club. Their message reads as follows: the thoughts and prayers of everyone at Township Rollers Football Club, our management staff, technical team, players, supporters go out to Kaiser Chiefs following the untimely death of player Luke Fleurs. We express our heartfelt condolences to Luke's loved ones and to our sister club, Kaiser Chiefs, in this period of bereavement. May you find comfort and strength. Yours in sport, Township Rollers FC Management. I've also been asked by the club at this stage to give an opportunity to anybody else who may have wanted to come and pay tribute to Luke that was not necessarily on the program. I'd like to give you as well this opportunity at this point if you'd like to come forward and say a few words. I'd like to invite one of Luke's teammates as well, Brandon Peterson, who also wanted to come and say something about his mate.
Thank you, Program Director. Good afternoon, everyone. I think first and foremost, I would just like to pass my deepest condolences to the family and to Luke's friends, teammates, his coaches. And you could hear by all the words that's been spoken that if ever you came across Luke, you'll never forget Luke. And I thought the best way for me is probably just to share, a story or two about Luke. I had the honor to obviously share a dressing room with him for the last 6 months. Luke always wanted to play. Never got the opportunity, but every day at training, if you look at him train, you're like, soon he's gonna get his chance, And Luke was raw, uncut, unfiltered, and I think that's one thing we all loved about him. I remember this one day, he was training with us before he signed, and head down, just grind. That was Luke. And the first day, it was like he's already part of the family. You couldn't, if someone else had walked in there, you would never say that Luke was just training with us or on trial. The day he signed, he was, this is my team. That was Luke. And, I think it was about 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, I was on my way to training, and I drive on the same road as Luke. I saw a message in the group. I never check my phone when I drive. But for some reason, I checked my phone, and it was a message from Luke in the group to say, "Gents, I'm stuck." I picked up my phone, I called him, like, "Bellas, where are you?" Like, "No, just before the turn-off." I'm like, "Okay, sharp, I'll see you now." I got there, Mingi and Skumba was there. They obviously stayed by the car. And then Luke got into my car and we drove First thing. He looked at me, he was like, "Morning, Biza." Like, "Morning, Bellas." Like, "Yeah, I almost forgot to put in petrol, man." Like, fellas, it's like, I thought zero was gonna take me there. Because I trust my zero, you know. And I just looked at him, was like, and for me, that summed up Bellas. Because Bellas didn't care, right? He would do whatever he felt was right to do. You know, no one could hold him back. If he decided to do something, he will do it. If he wants to tell you something, he tells you straight. There's no this, that, maybe. You get it straight, raw and uncut. And one thing I've learned from him is to live your life to the fullest. Like there's no tomorrow, because tomorrow is not guaranteed for everyone or for anyone. And I think that's one thing that will stay forever, is to live my life to the fullest and with no regrets, you know. And it's one more story I want to share before I go. He messaged me one day, called me, asked me, "Pija, can you please give me a lift to training? Someone's going to use my car." I'm like, "Okay, sharp, pick you up." So bear in mind, Bella stays in the same complex as Yusuf and Ashley, right? And I didn't ask questions, I went to go pick him up. So I called him, I'm like, "Bellas, I'm outside, on my way." Gate opens, Bellas is driving with Yusuf. Yusuf drops him at my car. He gets out, he gets in my car, and he just says, "Morning, Biza." And we went to training. And I was like, "But why didn't you just drive with?" "Nah, he didn't reply to me, so I just said you must drop me there." Man. So that for me is one thing that will live forever in my heart, is Bella's stories. You know, every day you get to training. If you had a day off, you know, at breakfast you're getting a story, raw and uncut. And we couldn't wait for that. And on that, look, Bella's, sweet things, malva pudding. Go well, my brother. And we will miss you. And I pray for strength and for peace. And may God protect each and everyone in this room. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that, Biza. Wonderful stories there, capturing the personality of Luke. I have another message that I'd like to share with you that was received from the Saudi Football Association Federation, addressed to the SAFA president, Dr. David Notoane. And the message says, "We were truly shocked and deeply saddened to learn about the untimely death of the talented footballer Luke Fleurs at the young age of 24. Following a shooting that took his life, words are not enough to express our sorrow for the loss of a player that showed so much talent to football fans around South Africa, with Ubuntu Cape Town, SuperSport United, and Kaizer Chiefs FC, and also with the under-23 national team at the Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan in 2022. We extend our heartfelt condolences to the South African Football Association and the entire football community in South Africa. Please convey our sincere condolences to his family, friends, and teammates. May God bless his soul and provide his loved ones with comfort and serenity in these difficult times. Yours sincerely, Yasser Al-Mishal. He's the president of the Saudi Arabian Football Association. All right, at this time then, I wish you to invite the family who also wanted to come and talk to us about the life of their son, brother, nephew, the Fleurs family who have made a trip to be with us here. Fleurs, for those of you who are uninitiated in French, means flowers. Sekorak, where's Keegan? Yeah?
His baby Luke. A name lovingly given to him by Simone, his mother, who touched our lives in ways words can hardly express. Our hearts are heavy with sorrow, our souls seeking solace to honor and remember a life that was short in duration, but infinite in its impact. So in the tapestry of family, every thread is vital. Each color and texture essential in creating a beautiful product. Luke was a talented and passionate soccer player from an early age. This is obviously not news to any of you. Many of you have had an encounter or countless encounters with our boy. Above all, he was a young man who, other than dearly loving his parents and siblings, loved his maternal grandmother dearly. Allow me to let you in on a little secret here. I'm sure Luke will not be happy that I stand here and publicly say this. Sorry, my boy. I just have to tell this. Luke slept behind his ma's back up until he left home for Ubuntu. And on his weekends at home, guess where he would be sleeping? Behind his ma's back. So born in Westridge, Mitchell's Plain, his laughter was a melody that played on even the darkest days. Sydney will attest to that. Although at times it was no melody to her, because it was her whom he had great pleasure in teasing about anything and everything. Right, Sydney? Can I tell them the stuff he teased you about? Okay, rather not. But I swear it gave Luke the greatest and ultimate pleasure to take the mickey out of his sister. And this banter is evident on the post Sedge would make on Luke's timeline. Please see a post to him on his last birthday. This she did simply because it was safe to do so while he was far away from her. But I have it on good report that he saved what he had planned to give back to her for when he got home. Am I right, Sydney? As we bid farewell to our dear son, cousin, brother, friend, and teammate Luke today, let us not lose ourselves in the sorrow of loss, but rather find comfort in the memories we shared, the laughter, the tears, the love. Let us remember him not with sadness, but with the joy he brought into our lives. And mostly let us never, never forget his dashing smile. Oh, our boy had the most beautiful, easy, willing smile. But you all know this, right? I hope and pray that when you think of Luke, the image in your minds would be of him smiling. It was his signature mark. He is known far and wide for this beautiful smile, which not only lit up his face, but every room he was in and every field he scored on. As I stand here today, I'm reminded of the words, life is not about the number of breaths we take, but about the moments that take our breath away. And Luke, you have done this to our family and all who came into contact with you from the day you were born. Luke's life was not a slow march, but a spirited dance, a vibrant symphony, a beautiful tapestry of vivid colors and rich textures. So Luke, we're not saying goodbye, my boy. Goodbye sounds so permanent. We are saying, so long, baby Luke. We'll see you later. So Luke came into our lives as a tiny bundle of joy. This son of the soil came from humble beginnings, born at home in Westridge, Mitchell's Plain, where his dad delivered him with his very own hands, the very hands which guided him throughout his life, the very hands which will lay our dear son to rest. It was his dad's touch he felt from day one. It was his dad's voice he first heard. And we salute you, Theo, for instilling impeccable humbleness and qualities in baby Luke. You have done well. As a little tot, Luke loved balls. It was all he wanted to do. And it was Josh, his eldest brother, who would teach him the special love for balls and for soccer. His maternal grandmother would take him to soccer games and watch him play as a very young boy while his dad worked and his mom would be home seeing to a warm meal and a hot bath upon his return. It made his grandmother so proud to report back Luke's successes on the soccer field. And she would give a detailed report of the game to everyone she came into contact with and say, he did it again. Die klong is 'n eyster op die veld. Later, when his grandmother could no longer do this, his dad made sacrifices and juggled work commitments in order to take him to soccer. Often Luke would get to practice or to a soccer match upon his dad's shoulders. He was an extremely outspoken little boy and often made us run and hide our faces for things he would innocently and very honestly say, regardless of who this was to. He was just an ordinary boy who never had beef with anyone. People loved him, and he loved people. He loved only soccer and was the true embodiment of Ubuntu. Our boy was never violent in any way. Naughty, yes, but never violent. In fact, as a family, we cannot remember a day that Luke was in a physical altercation with anyone. So to the perpetrators who took the life of our baby Luke, while you ripped Simone's heart from her very being, may you find peace. I encourage you with a verse out of Luke 8, verse 26 to 39. And please know that as a family, we are praying not for revenge, but for justice. And may the Lord be with you. Theo, Simone, my dearest sister, Joshua, Sydney, it cannot be easy saying goodbye. So we're saying, see you later. More than anyone else here in this venue, you have played the most important part in Luke's life. You molded and shaped him. It is you who prepared Luke for a time such as the 4th of April, 2024. Hence the smile on his face, even as we speak today. Simone, I know from the conversations we had during the time leading up to your baby leaving the parental home that it was a decision which was well thought through. I am not sure how many of you are familiar with the term dala. It's a term often used in Cape Town. It means just do it. So it was on the day that Luke used the word dala that Simone decided in her wisdom as a mother to tap into what Luke loved most, soccer. And that is how Luke's Ubuntu journeys began. It was not an easy decision to take to let go of your lastborn and send him into the world. I also know that you were well pleased that he was safe with Ubuntu. But you missed him. You sacrificed for the love of the good game. You sacrificed for the love of your boy. Saying he's gone gives the impression that Luke is lost. And Luke is not lost. He's seeing his grandmother, his grandfather, and all our witnesses in the clouds. As we speak, he's in the company of those whom he dearly loved. Luke went on before, like he did when he joined Ubuntu, whereafter the sky was the limit for him, or not. We will see you later, Luke. You will always be our man of the match and our dearest baby Luke. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Auntie Teresa Fleurs, Luke's aunt, Luke's other mum. You know, our aunties are all our mothers, our other mothers. Thank you so much for that. I want to, before I invite Luke's dad, I just want to acknowledge the presence of Luke's former teammates at SuperSport United who are now at Mamelodi Sundowns. I cannot see you guys from here, but I want to acknowledge you all individually. I think I saw Debza, I saw Sipo, saw Grant, but we acknowledge all of you guys, and thank you for also coming through to also pay your respects to your friend and former teammate. At this time then, I'd also like to give an opportunity to Luke's father, who also wanted to say some words about his beloved son. Theo.
Start, I will tell him in the junior days, okay, Luke, I'm going to give you like 10 in a goal. And then Luke comes home with 5 goals a game, 10 goals a game. Luke is just clocking the game, so I had to get out of that contract. It was getting too much for me. But everywhere he was playing, he was just an exceptional person. Who just wanted to see his team achieve. He just wanted to do everything for his team. Even on national stages where he went to go and play, he always gave his everything that he had. As a 4-year-old, when we saw that Luke got this talent while playing with his brother in the road in front of the house football, when Luke is 4 and everybody's playing against is like 8 years old, and would watch him, and he was like a little Messi on the field, like quick because he's short, and he's like a tubby, a sturdy kind of guy. And his mommy will always ask him, Luke, what you doing? He say, body playing, mommy, I'm body playing, and then we'll enjoy ourselves and stuff like that. After that, once I saw that talent, so I thought, okay, I'm gonna enroll you in a club. And there was a club around the corner, Cyprus United, and we gave him just a few run-outs there just to feel the field, even though his jersey was sitting like almost on his hand, you know. And from there, we definitely decided we want to enroll him in a league, and we're looking for a nice club in the area. That's when we found Diamonds United, which is Midas United now. But before that, I wanted to do more with him, prepare him more. And I actually got a basketball for him to kick around with. Now, a basketball is much bigger and heavier. And for a couple of weeks, he was complaining, Daddy, it's burning, then I will leave it. And then after a couple of weeks, I was complaining, look, please don't kick so hard. My arms is burning here. And then I knew that if he's going to run out on the field in the under 6 games, then they're going to give him a number 4 ball. And the players can just imagine what he was doing with that number 4 ball. If he was used to striking a basketball, that I was complaining, and his sister had it, you know. Yes, you know, and headering the ball, he always used to close his eyes when I was like throwing the ball to his head, and I was like ask him like, how are you gonna see where to direct the ball and so forth. So that I worked on, and also on using both his feet. You know, okay, look, you see the way you move, kicking the ball with your right. Now just throw your body the same on the other side, and that is how I got him to use both his feet. Is just an exceptional boy wherever we go, and I really love doing that and to be in his life. You know, wow, we had so much dreams together, so many things we still wanted to see. I thought he's gonna give me twins because my mom was a twin. I didn't get any, so I thought, okay, here's double trouble gonna come, you know. First the one same face and then the other same face, you know, stuff like that. I was dreaming of, and but unfortunately, we've got plans, but our Almighty, He's got His own plans. We are sad, but we are happy He is safe in the arms of our Lord, where He's going to look over each and everybody that cares for Him and love Him.
Imagine is that a day will come when you bury your own child. So I cannot even begin to imagine what you have gone through in the last week as a family and as Luke's parents. You know, in English, the English talk about, you know, something like that. Bearing your own children is not something that should happen. It's an abomination. In Setswana, we say, Kimwila. Means in Afrikaans to express what that is about. So, but I'm absolutely amazed at the level of strength that you show, that you're showing here today, and that you showed standing here in front of us. The seker jaw power, ne? So continue to wish strength and God's blessing.
Luke also liked everything short and sweet, so I'm just gonna stick to the basics. Okay. First of all, I'd just like to say thanks to the man above for opening our eyes today so that we can embrace this moment that I'm experiencing, my family and I. On behalf of all of us, we would just like to give thanks to everyone back home in Cape Town, the Ubuntu family, everybody in the area, in Joburg, everybody. I would just like to give thanks for the prayers, for the messages. It really made us stronger as a family. So my throat is a bit sore today because of keeping my cries in, but it's because of all the prayers and the messages which made me a stronger person. So when we break down as a family, I would be the one for everyone to lean on. And I appreciate everything and everybody for welcoming us and caring for us and keeping us strong, so that we can stick together instead of breaking down in tiny bits of pieces. I would also just like to say there is a special song that actually dropped just last night, and I would like
When you said dropped yesterday, you didn't tell us who the artist was. Was that you? Oh, no.
Actually, sorry about that. Sorry about that, man. The artist wanted to be anonymous, but I'm gonna just Luki Lakshman. Thank you, my brother. We appreciate everything, my G.
Nice. Kwai, it's really good. Nice, nice. Enjoyed that. Thanks, Josh, for that tribute to your bro. I also wanted to acknowledge that our hosts here this afternoon are Stadium Management South Africa, who are partners of Kaizer Chiefs Football Club. They've also sent a special message here to Luke's family, and it reads as follows. It is with a heavy heart that the management and staff of Stadium Management South Africa extend our deepest condolences following the tragic news about Luke Fleurs' untimely demise in the unfortunate hijacking incident in Johannesburg last night. His loss will be deeply felt by all who had the privilege to know him and witness his immense talent on the pitch. Our thoughts and prayers are with everyone affected by this tragic incident. We wish to express our heartfelt sympathy to the Kaizer Chiefs Football Club management and staff, his coaches and fellow players. In particular, Luke's family and loved ones will remain in our prayers during this difficult time, as we can only imagine the sorrow and pain they all must be feeling right now. May the memory of Luke Fleurs continue to inspire us all in the world of football, and may his soul rest in eternal peace. We stand in solidarity with and share in the sorrow that has befallen the larger and extended Kaizer Chiefs Football Club family in this moment of grief. Kind regards, Bertie Grobler, Chief Executive Officer, Stadium Management, South Africa. With that, I'd also like you to just take a glance at the screen and watch this video tribute from Kaizer Chiefs Football Club to Luke. All right. When I was acknowledging Luke's former teammates from SuperSport United that are now with Sundowns, I just spotted Jamie Weber here as well, another buddy and former teammate of Luke. I see you, Jamie. All right. So with that, let me take this time now to invite, just to say a final word on behalf of the Kaizer Chiefs football family. I'm going to invite the sporting director, Kaizer Motaung Jr.
Very short, because it's just basically just to say thank you. I think there's been many amazing words that have been spoken today, and I think it's just for us to just really show appreciation and say thank you. I think last week was one of the most toughest weeks we've had as Kaizer Chiefs Football Club. Losing a team member, a brother, a friend, and a son, like Luke, in the way that we did, has been really difficult for this team. As we stand before you and we remember Luke, we recall not only his footballing prowess, but also his unique and warm personality. He exemplified authenticity, humility, and courage. I recall, I know Glenn mentioned that point earlier, but I know when Simone shared those couple of words last week about a favorite phrase that Luke would say, that stuck with me when he said, never pretend. And I think that was a summation of how Luke approached life when she said, never pretend, because you'll make mistakes. Always be yourself. And I think that's the Luke that we knew. True to his word, unapologetically himself. And that is why I think you can see the kind of mark that he's left on people that have come before and shared some words, and all of us here today. Luke's achievements at such a young age bear testament to the remarkable ability he possessed. And through all of his life's challenges and things that came his way, such as escaping the streets of Mitchell's Plain, where many of our young people struggle to make a success of their lives because of the social ills that they face. But yet, he marched on. He persevered with an unwavering spirit and determination to realize his dream. I think it's very well documented. I'm sure Luke as a young man had many dreams, but it's very well documented, the one massive dream that he had, and that was just to wear the gold and black jersey of Kaizer Chiefs. I remember at the time when we went before the chairman and said we have the opportunity to sign a Luke Fleurs. It was a no-brainer. I think the chairman even said to us, but are you guys sure? Because it's not possible that we can even get Luke on a free. It wouldn't make any sense. I know, Stan, that would never be possible, you know? And when it was able to be done, it was like, just get it done. Because that was the level and caliber of the player, Luke Fleurs. And I know that, Glenn, thank you to you because you were very instrumental, you know, and Lance, in bringing the deal to the table. You know, we really want to thank you for your professionalism and how everything was done, and your openness about all the things about Luke, because we all know the nice thing about Luke, and what stood out for me is Luke was not perfect. He was perfectly imperfect, and that's a massive message to all of us as human beings, you know, and we were transparent with everything, and just a big thank you to you. We at Kaizer Chiefs are honestly blessed and privileged to have had one of the most exciting ball-playing centre-backs in this country as part of the Khosi Nation. Luke played with the class and aura of the yesteryear legends that wore this jersey. That's what he exhumed. That's what we all saw. And it's just it's a travesty, the fact that he didn't get to have his moments on the field. Since his arrival, it must be very clear, Luke was a consummate professional. He approached every training with the respect and honor that it deserved. We all have been footballers, and when you're not getting game time, when you have to show up every day, working hard for your family, they ask you, but you've been training well, so why aren't you in the team? He came with an amazing attitude. Every single day, did what he had to do to make sure that his teammates are prepared, supported, and loved, so that they can go and give their best. Even though he was patiently waiting for his chance to show the Khosi Nation what he can do. He has really left a void in our change room, in our training fields, and in our hearts. He was a team player and a happy soul. He was a positive person who always uplifted the spirits. I think everyone has said that, no matter if you are a football person, no matter if you support Kaizer Chiefs, Supersport, Ubuntu, or a Bafana supporter, there's a common thread when it comes to Luke. And it just shows you the level of the human being and the person and how he's touched people's lives. Our new normal, the last couple of days and weeks, or since last week, as we come to the village, we look at the empty seat where he'd sit in our change room, in our technical center before our team meetings, in the meal room, which we call Taum, and of course in the corridors of the village. So in his honor, and to ensure he is not forgotten, our executive chairman, Dr. Kaizer Motaung, has agreed that we will retire Luke's jersey number 26. This doesn't happen often. But as a fallen soldier, the entire institution believes is the right thing to do, and we want to ensure that his legacy is with us forever. Even those that come after us will know there was a Luke Fleurs who wore jersey number 26 for Kaizer Chiefs Football Club. To the family, can we just give a round of applause for that one there? To the family and friends, just know we're with you. We've shared some words since last week. Just want you to know that the tough times come when the room is empty and you're back at home in the familiar environments that you are in. We promise and pledge that we are together. We are with you, and we'll make sure that we do everything we can to uphold Luke's name, his legacy, and to provide you all the support that we can. I think that's from our chairman, and he had moments to share with you, even though he wasn't here today, and I think those are priceless moments that he was able to share with you in his office, also in a space that nobody really goes, is not allowed in, and to see that genuine interaction with him, it comes straight from him. So know that we're together forever. We will continue to honor Luke because he was and is and always will be a massive part of Kaizer Chiefs. As we close, we'd like to just thank all the people who've sent a message of support to the club and the family. They include Richards Bay. I think we got messages from Stellenbosch FC, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, the CAF president, Gianni Fantino of FIFA, our sponsors, Vodacom, Beati Grobler and SMSA, the Saudi FA, as you saw some of those letters that were broadcast, Township Rollers from Botswana, SAFA, I know that they sent many condolences and messages of support because I think the country has definitely lost a gem that was going to show on the world stage, not just club level, what he can do. We'd like to thank you, Bertie, also for allowing us to use a venue as a time to honor Luke in such great fashion. Thank you very much, as always, being supportive. We'd also like to thank SAPS for the speedy, aggressive, targeted, and successful way in which they're able to apprehend the people who took Luke's life away. We know that no amount of punishment will bring Luke back, but we're not here to judge. We just ask that justice will prevail, and we thank them very much for what they've done in such a short time. I'd like to thank you, the Fleurs family, for giving us Luke. We thank you for honoring this day with your presence. This is a tough thing to do, and we'd like to thank you for entrusting us with Luke's talent. We pray for strength for you to navigate these next couple of days, especially now as you're going to lay him to rest on the 20th of this month. I'd like to thank all those in attendance and all those who watched online to pay respect to Luke and the Fleurs family. I think Amanda Lopez and Pam and her team from the Shell Garage are here also to show support where this incident happened, and we want to thank you very much for your management team, so quick with all the information and assistance that you provided to the authorities that have helped to the speedy recovery of all who are guilty of committing this heinous crime. And lastly, I want to thank you, Luke. We thank you for the light you gave the world and the love you planted in each and every one of our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kaiser. Thank you as well to all the Kaizer Chiefs players. I think we must also acknowledge the bravery that the players showed, that even after learning of this tragic incident, they all took a decision as a whole to go and play the game, because that's what they felt Luke would have wanted. And I think we have to applaud your bravery for that and hope that a tragedy like this serves to actually bring you guys closer together and negotiate this very difficult time, both on and off the field. I want to take this opportunity as well to just, while I was acknowledging some of the players with us, I believe die hond, as he iewers. Where is he? Blaf, meneer. Woof. That's Bernard Parker, longtime servant of this club, who's also here with us. I'd also like to last but certainly not least, acknowledge, I didn't want to mention him earlier in the program because I wasn't certain that he was actually going to make it because of his rather hectic schedule, but I want to, on behalf of the club, acknowledge the presence of the Premier of Gauteng, Mr. Banyaza Lesufi. He's out of sight, I can't see him, but Meneer, if you can stand there, yeah, he's over there. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us, even out of your busy schedule. We really appreciate it. And of course, as has already been mentioned by the family, who have acknowledged the efforts of government in terms of the police and what the police, how swiftly they've moved in trying to get, to bring the perpetrators of this horrible crime to book. And, you know, as Auntie Teresa said, it's not vengeance that the family seeks, but justice. And that, I think we're well on our way to getting that justice. With that, under normal circumstances, if we were all at a football match and we gathered for a moment of silence, that moment of silence would be concluded with a crowd standing up, and I think I'm going to ask everyone to give a round of applause. Luke Fleurs. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our program for this morning. Please be seated. Many thanks once again. I think you've all been thanked for your attendance this afternoon. Please continue to be there for the Amakosi family, and most importantly, to be there for Luke's family. To the family, I know there's still a hard road that you need to walk before you lay Luke to his final resting place. We wish you all God's blessings and strength, and that you will be certainly not alone in this journey as you walk. Just also one or two announcements to make that I believe there will be some refreshments that will be served after this. Lost and found, I'm told there is, Vina just showed me a ring. So it looks like a lady's ring. That's a problem. I don't know.